The final whistle has blown at the Etihad Stadium. It has finished Manchester City 2, West Ham United 1. Manchester City scoring in the 33rd minute, Gundogan scoring the opening goal and doubling their advantage in the final minute of normal time. Fernandinho, the substitute, had only been on the field for something like 3 minutes when he side-footed home from just inside the box to make it 2-0 to Man City and give them an unassailable lead. But then Manuel Lanzini, out of absolutely nothing, in fact, in the fourth and final added-on minute at the end of the game, produces a volley, maybe not quite as outstanding as the one he scored at White Hart Lane in that incredible 3-3 draw last season, but certainly one that's going to be challenging, I would suggest, for the Goal of the Season award come the end of this year. But it has finished, as I said, Manchester City 2, West Ham United 1. First initial thoughts post-match from our team. Rio, over to you first, because Gnome has just disappeared.
Yeah, I'm just incredibly frustrated on anything. You go up to the Etihad, you expect to be coming against top-class opposition who are going to make you work your nuts off. You have to take the game to them, which we did so well in the first 20 minutes, but we completely switched off. We lost all discipline. We lost all impetus. We handed the game to them. Only went in the break at 1 down. I expected a reaction, but we got nothing. We got absolutely nothing. And it took 45 minutes to create a real good effort on goal, which Manuel has absolutely taken with aplomb. But for a game when we were so awful, again, we was only 1-0 down until the very dying embers of it.
Yeah.
You know, we could have easily taken a point. We just need to be a bit braver. But it isn't that. We need to be not only brave, we need to be intelligent with our use of ball. And we didn't do that today. We created our own demise here. And it is just, at this level and at this stage of our progression, we should be taking the teams to pieces at time. I'm not saying today we should be taking them to pieces, but we should be more switched on diligently, defensively. The mindset has got to be right. We was lacking today in every attacking sense. And we've got couple of injuries. Our left side's been decimated again, because I don't know how Aaron's going to cope with that, what he went through today. Yeah, the changes didn't make sense when they came on. I would love to see Lanzini come on, but sit in a quarterback position almost, and throw Thomas Souček further forward, just behind Antonio, offer him a bit of support, because Souček's been wasted where he is at the moment. There's just things not clicking for me. And it's a bit worried now.
Okay. Gnome, I don't know if you can hear us. Yes, we've got you. Rio says it's a bit worrying. Back-to-back defeat at Wolves, defeats by Man City, only by the odd goal in each game. But, two very, very disjointed and out of the ordinary performances for West Ham this season. But just specifically sticking with today for now, what's your initial post-match thoughts on what we've seen there?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these ones, it's how far we've come that we're actually disappointed that we've lost 2-1 away at Man City, Right. 2 years ago, we'd have been 2-1. It's not 5-0. We've had 2 games where we haven't exactly been at the races. We're going to have a sticky spell this season. I mean, we've come out of the blocks like a greyhound. So, we're going to have this. I don't think there's anything to be particularly concerned about. If you get sticky spell the last 7 games, then maybe you start sort of like thinking about it. But at the end of the day, we could have done better. We know we should have done better there.
Okay.
2-1, it's about the right result. I mean, if that third goal had been allowed, I'd have been. It would have been a complete and utter travesty of justice. I mean, 2-0 was slightly flattering to them because they didn't. We weren't sort of. Fabianski wasn't making save after save after save, was he?
No.
Most of their, you'll give me the efforts on goal and how many were on target. And they were, a lot of those were rosette candidates, weren't they? So, we played well enough defensively. It's just a different attacking force. we didn't look after the ball, and that's something that we need to really work on, because what we were doing better earlier on this season was that, and we weren't, we weren't doing that well enough. So we go away again. We've got Brighton midweek, and I've got every faith that a lot of the stuff would have been put right. Yeah, I mean, as I say, the old poem about treating defeat and victory in the same equanimity. What I said all last season, let's not get carried away. Let's not get carried away either way, win or lose.
Okay, all right, good stuff. There you have it, the gents' initial post-match thoughts on what we've seen today. What Manchester City 2, West Ham United 1. The Hammers falling to a second consecutive Premier League defeat at the Etihad Stadium this afternoon. Hopefully joining us very, very soon by the wonders of modern technology will be the Pink Palermo, who was at the game for KUMB.com this afternoon, and of course himself, but able to report for us live and direct from Manchester. And hopefully we'll have him on very, very shortly, as I say. But let's I think there's a couple of things we really, really need to talk about that stood out in that game. Rio, you touched on it. The decisions by David Moyes. I mean, you know, in Moyes we trust, of course, and all this. He's done an absolutely fabulous job. But I don't think it's unfair that we can be, you know, slightly critical when we feel that's you know, apt. And I think there was definitely perhaps some reason to criticise the one or two of his decisions there today. And I think the most obvious one was we spoke about the substitutions. You called it at half time. You said you felt that Soufal should come on because he'll give us that, you know, added impetus on the flanks in attack. What we weren't expecting was him to be brought on and put on the left-hand side, though. And of course, when we went to a flat back four following, who is it that came off? It was when Bowen came on, wasn't it? Went on the right. I think we went to a flat back four, reverted to the 4-2-3-1 formation that, of course, we've done so well in. And I think we were all kind of expecting Ben Johnson, of course, is as a left-sided player, played left back, you know, quite a lot during his academy time to switch over with Soufal, but it didn't happen. And we saw it in the last 3 or 4 minutes when there were 3 opportunities when Soufal broke down the left-hand side, and obviously somebody who's a natural left-sided player, Cresswell, for example, Masuaku, would have just whipped the ball in. Each time he's had to cut back on his right-hand side because he's that kind of modern phenomena of a Premier League player who can't play with both feet. But what sense can we make of that decision? Why has Moyes done it? Why has he not looked at that and said, let's just make what seems like the natural switch? Is it because perhaps he set out plans for Johnson to deal with Sterling throughout the game, maybe, and maybe, you know, we hadn't sat down and worked that out with Soufal? What possible reasoning can you think of that? Because I'm struggling, quite frankly. Yeah,
I'm actually struggling as well. I think your point is probably the most valued one going. He must have had a plan for Johnson to deal with Sterling down outside. He obviously wasn't expecting to lose his natural left-sided defender in Aaron Cresswell. I know he played centre-back for most of the game today.
Yeah.
But with Arthur not being at the races, particularly in the second half, if it had kept Cresswell on, you have that natural left-sided player who can, as you say, get down the line and whip the ball in.
Yeah.
You just think Ben Johnson's got a lot more experience playing the left side in his fledgling career than Vladimir Soufal ever has. And Vladimir Soufal, who offered so much last season, both attacking and defensively, it's just natural for him to go to that right-hand side.
Yeah.
You switch Johnson to the left, particularly when you've got Fornells in front of him just playing that slightly advanced role. You don't expect too much of Johnson in the attacking department, which for me, as someone who started as an attacking midfielder, it's a bit baffling that he hasn't progressed and taken that kind of impetus into his first team appearances. But, you know, if he's going to play strictly in that defensive mode, put him on the left. We've got Fornells, whose work rate and energy, again, he didn't have a great game today, but his work rate and energy normally will offer him some protection now and offer Fornells the ability to kind of advance forward without having to worry about his defensive duties as much because he knows Johnson's going to be strictly stuck in that position. Right-hand side, you stick your natural right back, somebody who can attack with verve and pump, but also offers the diligence to get back and defend well.
Yeah.
It's just completely baffling. I can't fathom that at all.
No, okay. Well, let's see if Gnome has got any ideas, because that's you and I who are pretty stumped with regards to the decision to keep Soufal on the left-hand side. Gnome, give us a reason why Moisey didn't change it. Why he kept Johnson on the right and Soufal on the left.
Yeah, you got me beat there.
That's no good.
We were talking. Yeah, I mean, mate Tony's just gone here, but yeah, we were saying when it first came on, he said, "I thought let's move Johnson over the left. Surely that makes more sense."
Yep.
And now, yeah, for the first couple of minutes, you know, while they were reorganising their calls or whatever to account for, that was one thing. But you know, once the game sort of calmed down a little bit after that, then it would have made sense to me.
Yep.
Okay. But no.
Baffling. Baffling, really.
Baffling.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, that wasn't.
Yeah, I was just about to say for the post-match, for the post-match roundup, I'm allowed about 15 minutes from the boss, because they're uptown somewhere where I've got to go and find in the age where to meet them. And, to quote the lovely Louise, who's been very wonderful in allowing me to do this today. Anyway, are you doing the after-match thing? So I said, yeah. She said, it'll be ages then. I know how you look along after a game. I don't know what you're trying to talk about. So, I said I'd try and limit it. And that's when we're being brief. Yeah. So, you've got for another 10 minutes.
All right.
Or so, then I've really got to get on the subway.
All right. No worries. Well, let's see if we can throw in some valuable content between now and then anyway, because I'm sure Rio's got things to do as well this afternoon. And, we'll hang about. No, he revise it goes.
Sorry, I'm being asked if the seat next to me has been taken, and it was sort of some. I've had to come back with someone sitting there, mate. Yeah, the time of the fan.
Okay, good stuff. Let's talk about let's talk about Declan Rice. Let's talk about some positive stuff. Declan Rice is going by numbers this afternoon. 98% pass accuracy, 78% total duels won, 11 ball recoveries, 5 attempted tackles, 4 successful tackles, 1 interception, 2 attempted dribbles, 2 successful dribbles, 1 shot, 4 passes into the final third. Another great game from Declan Rice, who goes from strength to strength.
Yeah.
No.
Also, one successful snowball launch.
Yes. Yeah, that was a good chuck. Very frustrated. Probably
does that count as a shot on target as well?
Well, I think we only had one, didn't we? Apart from that, so we'll take it anyway. So 2 shots on target for West Ham this afternoon. Talk to me, gentlemen. No, I'll come to you first, just in case you need to nip off fairly shortly. But let's have a chat about Said Benrahma. Last season, all of us were a little bit unsure. We weren't quite convinced that he was going to be the player that we'd hoped he was. This season, absolutely fantastic. Ended last season brilliant form as well. Last couple of weeks, really, really not been at the races at all. And there are serious questions being asked by some fans now as to whether Manuel Lanzini should be taking his place in the starting lineup. Of course, that goal he scored today certainly aren't going to do his claims any harm at all. Noam, what's your view on that issue, Lanzini versus Benrahma?
I think I would go Lanzini for Brighton.
Okay.
Certainly, if he's going to be on the bench, I'd certainly give him a lot longer. Quite a territory, but he also does a little bit more of the donkey defensive work than he did in the field. He's got a bit more nous about him.
Yeah.
I think we might be seeing a bit of interchange between those two in the next month or so, until hopefully Lingard arrives. I can see if Lingard comes back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned. It's almost like you've read my mind there, because my next question was going to be, what about Jesse Lingard? Was there a Jesse Lingard size hole in that team today, and would we have benefited from him being out there?
I certainly think would have been hold on to the ball. Lingard runs with the ball better than Benrahma, and taking people on. I think we're a better side with him in.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that maybe there's a let's face it, won't give us that many nights at the moment. In any case, I think he stayed, having been given assurances that he was going to see a lot more game time. He hasn't.
Yep.
And the only thing I can think of is I haven't seen what NBC Sports.
We're losing you again. No, I'm sorry. We've
got NBC. Yeah, I think
that's better.
Thing we've got on the moment is NBC Sports.
Yeah.
And so then I haven't seen a lineup at the moment, but I'm guessing he's probably not starting again today.
Yeah.
My only worry is that someone new comes in. They've got this interim guy coming in, haven't they? Apparently from Moscow, was it? And I'm only a little bit concerned that he might take a sort of fresh look at things and think, yeah, Lingard's the guy I need.
Yeah.
And we miss out for that reason. But I'm hoping that won't be the case. But yes,
okay.
if he's available, have him like a shoot.
All right. Let me throw that over to Rio quickly. Rio, a couple of questions there. Lanzini versus Benrahma. Your views? No one thinks we should go with Lanzini at against Brighton in midweek. And Jesse Lingard, would he have made a difference today?
Yes, on both counts.
Okay.
I think Lanzini's earned his starting place.
Yeah.
Saeed hasn't been at the races for a good month or so now. And we pointed out earlier in the first half, he was getting some brilliant positions,
yeah.
but a lack of awareness cost him dearly. I can completely understand why he went for goal on every single occasion, but not every time should he have shot. He should have looked up or had that awareness for 4-0 in the first instance, definitely.
Yeah.
Possibly one of the others too. Yeah, I mean, he's got a great goal scoring record at championship level with Brentford. He started off the season like a house on fire, but he's dropped off. And despite the fact he's getting in the right areas, his decision making and his finishing ability hasn't been the required standard the last few weeks.
Why? Because we said this, didn't we, last season? That was the main issue. He was making the wrong decision, shooting, when he should have been looking for a pass instead. He seemed to sort that out, didn't he? You said it there, and he started the season on fire. It was fantastic. The last 2 or 3 weeks, it's like we've got the bad old Benrahma back. The Benrahma who makes the wrong choices, the bad mistakes, and has that poor first touch. What's going on there?
The only thing I can think is that it's kind of a mental problem. You're either going to get one Benrahma or the other. You're never going to get a consistent one. And it depends very much on the day which one you're going to get. I thought after the Ghent game away, when he got those 2 great goals, I thought that would spur him back on, increase his confidence, boost him. I just don't know. I don't know if it's the level of opposition we've played the last 2 weeks. Obviously, City are world-class side. Wolves ain't bad either. But I don't know. He's just suffering. I can't pinpoint why. No. And I think David Moyes will be thinking the same thing. What happened to that player that I got into your head at the start of the season? I transformed you. I got you right exactly where I wanted you. Why have you dropped off? I just think it's a mental thing with Saeed.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll certainly find out by Wednesday, because if he's in the team, then you'll assume that Moyes still fancies him. But I mean, Lanzini's experienced something of a renaissance, hasn't he, in recent weeks? People were almost suggesting that he was surplus to requirements in the summer, and that following the injury, he hadn't been the same sort of player. But those 2 or 3 weeks, a few weeks, come on, made a real difference as a sub, giving us a bit of energy, looked lively, and he's kind of played himself back into contention, hasn't he?
Very much so. But I think this was triggered off towards the end of last season. When we went up to Turf Moor, we had the injuries, he played as a deep line centre midfielder. And he found his voice. He was controlling the game. He was some absolutely amazing passing from the deep. He controlled games that we hadn't seen for about 18 months. And despite the fact that he was left out the side at the start of the season, every time he's been called upon, he's come on, he's made a difference. I think actually today, in terms of playing performance and being involved in the game, again, you've got to take into consideration the level of the opposition. It's probably his least effective performance from the bench today. But he caps it off with quite a nice little tidy goal at the end now. But when he's been called upon each time this season, he's contributed in a positive way.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I agree. I think he's done well, and certainly given himself a real shout for a start this week. But let's just take a quick look at the second half action. It wasn't an awful lot happened really. Most of the main talking points took place in the first half, and there was a couple of bookings that we shouldn't have happened. But I mean, the first real incident of note was that horrendous injury sustained Gnome by Aaron Cresswell. It was 60th minute, there was it Jesus who had the shot, I think it was, or Seal, I can't remember now actually, but it was heading goalwards. Cresswell scurried back to get the ball out, put the ball out of danger from under the crossbar, but slipped and on his back slid straight, the post straight in, looked like the kidneys, looked like that side, his left hand side, and it's kind of funny, isn't it? Because Cresswell's been there every week so far this season. Didn't play on Thursday and only played half a game today. But nasty looking collision, that one, Gnome, and not one you'd fancy taking yourself. And must have been a real tough one, because it's not often that you see a player go off or something like that.
Yeah, you said that earlier on we had a few seconds behind you here, but as it happened, especially after the replay, you could hear the groan.
Yeah.
And it was one of those. It was horrible. It's going to be very sore and tender for that day or two at least, and they need to make sure check there isn't anything more extensive, because obviously around the kidneys there you need to be a little bit careful.
Yeah.
Bruising to go, you get bruised kidneys, don't you? So hopefully it's nothing long term, but it was just good to think about it, just sort of seconds ago. Showing sort of highlights of other games at the moment. So, horrible.
It also kind of made David Moyes' mind up for him, did he, in terms of the changes? He had to bring Soufal on at that stage, and that was a sort of enforced change. Maybe other changes might have been slightly different had we been able to keep the defenders on at the start. I suggest Soufal probably wouldn't have gone on. But, that's what they're for, substitutions as well. Okay, we've lost you again.
Yeah, sorry, it's getting a bit rowdy in it. I am going to have to disappear in about 5 minutes or so, because I've just had a message about where we're meeting.
Turn your phone off. Be all right.
Opposite an ice skating rink, which no, I am not going ice skating. My ankles are bad enough at the best of times. So,
like I say, mate, I'd turn your phone off if I was you. Just pretend that you've run out of battery if that's on the menu. Stick with us, you'll be all right. For those who
you're 3,500 miles away from my young lady, and it's easy for you to say. I'm not, and she knows where I am right now. So
yeah, good point, fair point. For those who are asking and weren't here at the start of the stream, Gnome is in New York this weekend, so that's where he's coming live for us, and still getting a better reception than we would if he was in the London bloody stadium. That's for sure. Even though he's 3,500 miles away, but there you go. Anyway, no, I'm going to ask you now, just in case you have to nip off before we finish this next segment, but give us your man of the match for today.
Difficult one, because nobody really stood out, I think, at the end of the day, and it's almost a default position because nobody can seem good enough to take it away from him. You read his stats earlier on. Declan Rice.
Yeah. Rio, any objections to that?
Oh, I missed that. I was just looking at the forum. Sorry. Was it
okay?
If you went for Declan, I'm in
Declan
complete
Rice.
agreement.
Declan, yeah, me too.
I'm complete agreement. I thought we actually, as a unit, we didn't defend that awfully.
Yeah.
You look at the chances City had. Obviously, had a lot more than us. But Dawson and Zuma weren't awful at all today.
No.
They did everything that was asked to. But Declan Rice just stands out by a country mile today. Yeah.
Fabianski didn't have a bad game either. Made 2 or 3 excellent saves again. But I hate the fact that when you lose, you quite often on games like this, we quite often give the award to Fabianski because there's no one else. You know, it's like, oh, we'll give it to the keeper. He made a couple of good saves, but I think we're probably just about right on that one. I think Rice was, you know, the only player really looked like doing anything in the entire game. Man of the match, good. Lingard done. Lanzini and Ben Rama done. Fullbacks done. I'm kind of running out of things to do. Actually, I think we can wrap up fairly soon. No, we've still got you. So let's have a look at our next. Have a look at our next outing. I'll tell you what. Before we do that, just very quickly, the other main incidents in the second half. 1-0 looked like we might be able to nick an equaliser at the end, and then Fernandinho. No, he'd only been on the pitch 2 minutes and come up and scored a second goal, and that was that.
Yeah, typically there's me saying, right, to mark respect, to put Fernandinho on to shore up things defensively, just as we were beginning to get a little bit of a football.
Yes.
What did you go down to school? What the hell do I know? It was a little bit we were asleep defensively. You can't afford to do that in 99% of games in the Premier League. You can't afford to do that. And you can't afford to do that sort of thing in 100% of games you play against Manchester City. Simple as that.
Okay. All right, someone scored by the sounds of things over there in New York. No, it's
the usual. It's the usual Man United sort of people going on for that football support.
Their local fan club.
Of course. Who did you used to support?
Yes, indeed. We did at least get the last cheer of the game, didn't we, Rio? And we kind of saved it to a little bit late. It was the fourth added on minute of 4 added on minutes at the end of the 90. But Manuel Lanzini, we spoke about him a few minutes ago, but we threw that strike. What a goal that was!
Yeah, for a performance where we was so inept going forward for 70 minutes, for him to pull that out the very last second, it's just frustrating because had we managed to do a little bit of magic 30 minutes earlier, we'd have been flying all over these. We could have snuck that game. No, it wasn't a great performance, but there's only one goal in it until that another slack bit of passing at the back, which got gifted Fernandinho that goal really. Yeah. Then Manuel pulls out an absolute worldie. It's just frustrating. Very frustrating day today. And just going back, my complaint from earlier, right?
Yeah.
The first time this broadcast has ever gone intercontinental, right? We've gone transatlantic. In the background, in the Smithfield Hall, I know there's a lot of expats there who come watch West Ham games, but it sounded like everyone there was from New Cross rather than New York. So I just think Gnome isn't in New York. He's just doing it from a studio somewhere the other side of the river.
Oh, right. I get you. He's got the old NASA 69 moon landing thing going on there, is he? You know. Come on, Gnome, fess up. Where are you really?
Welcome to Capital. No, I can guarantee you that I'm in the Smithfield Hall, a wonderful hostelry, and I'm not saying that just as my hostess. I came down here yesterday afternoon. Basically locate the place.
Come closer.
Yeah, I came down here yesterday afternoon with Lou, just to make sure the game is on here and reconnaissance and early stuff. And we've made it incredibly welcome here. It's a marvellous house for anybody in the world wait for football. There must be 20 plus TV screens in here at the moment.
Give him another free beer.
Yeah, if only. No, I've got to go in a minute. But no, it's a wonderful pub. I'll be in here for Wednesday for the Brighton game as well now. So,
all right.
And it's been a great place to watch the game. I'm going to have to say my goodbyes now because I'm not getting connected with
all right. Well, look, hang on. No, before you go, tell that not to shut up.
It's only Man United supporters. What they know about football.
All right. Well, listen. Before you go, I've got your favourite bit of the show for you, the XG stat. I mean, you could possibly leave without hearing that. Today's XG stat: Man City 2.80. West Ham. Want to have a guess?
0.6243 recurring.
Rio? What?
0.3.
Well, Rio's either seen it or he's incredibly observant.
Good win a prize.
West Ham's XG stat for today was 0.24. So we probably actually did quite well to only go down 2-1 according to that. But anyway, no, go and get yourself off to the ice rink or wherever it is you're off to now.
Yeah,
and we'll catch up with you on Wednesday.
Anyway. We'll catch
All right.
up on Wednesday. Take
All
care.
right.
Thanks, gents. Take care.
All right, buddy. You take care. Mine, there you go. Gnome coming live for KUMB from New York City. Our first, as Rio said, our first transatlantic broadcast. And as I said, a much better signal than you'd get at the London Olympic Stadium. Rio, it's just you and me. Pinky hasn't turned up. I guess he's hugely disappointed at seeing West Ham go down this afternoon. So we shall wrap up between us, my friend, this afternoon. So yeah, there wasn't many highlights in that second half at all, was there? There wasn't an awful lot to talk about, but West Ham went down anyway, which means that makes this is it Wednesday, our next game? Is it Wednesday?
Yep, Wednesday at Brighton, home to Brighton. Wednesday
against Brighton at the London Stadium. When was the last time we beat Brighton, Rio?
I think Moses was playing. I don't mean Victor. I think the beard with the bloke with the beard.
Bloke who parted the Red Sea.
Yeah. Now, I'll be honest,
yes.
Our record against Brighton is so shocking. The last time I can remember us beating them, when I went, was when we won away in the promotion season when Kevin Nolan scored at the MX. I really can't remember. I'm going to have to check this up because...
Sorry, I've got it right here. I can tell you that, well, it certainly hasn't been since they were promoted in the Premier League, was it? You're absolutely spot on. The last time we beat them was in the promotion championship season, 2011-12. We beat them home and away, beat them 1-0 at their ground. As you said, Kevin Nolan scoring the only goal, 17 minutes gone, first half. And then we beat them in the return fixture. We absolutely smashed them off the park, didn't we? It was that game. Was that the last game of the season when Vazte scored the hat-trick, Nolan, Carlton Cole scoring and Gary Dicker scoring an own goal? I think it might.
I think it was the last league game.
Last league game, yeah, because we had the
and
playoffs,
I'm still bitter about that. It's only 6-0 game. I've walked out absolutely disgusted because if you remember, Vazte did that spectacular overhead kick.
Yes,
I think clinched his hat trick.
Yeah,
but in the build-up, there was a blatant penalty, and I'm turning around to everyone alongside me, going, "Didn't you see that? That was his penalty." So I missed the overhead kick bit because I was too busy moaning.
Well, look, I mean, Brighton, I've got to say, they are responsible for being involved in the worst game I think I've ever seen at the Bowling Ground. In fact, the worst game I've probably ever seen West Ham playing. And it was that game when we were relegated and playing down the Championship. November 2004, according to my stats I'm looking at now. We lost 1-0. Gary Butters, the immortal Gary Butters, scored the only goal of the game, 22 minutes left. Hayden Mullins was sent off with Adam Virgo, 16 minutes from time. And it was one of them games. I remember looking around at the crowd and everybody was just absolutely I don't think anyone even complained because we were just so downtrodden as a fan base by that point. You know, we'd seen that all our best players go to Chelsea and whatnot. And I think that was when Defoe was getting sent off nearly every other week. But anyway, it was a terrible time and it was just an awful game and we went down. But yeah, I mean, so Brighton, we haven't had 9 years. 9 years is the answer since we last beat them. Can we turn it around? I mean, looking at their record, they've had a really, really terrible run, haven't they, lately? I mean, they were doing so well at the start of the season. Drew 0-0 with Leeds, lost 2-0 at Villa, held by Newcastle at the Amex a few weeks ago. Did all right. I mean, they went to Liverpool and drew 2-2, and also at Leicester. Smashed 4-1 at home by Man City, held by Norwich. Good result at Palace 1-1. You've got to go back to, I mean, they beat Swansea in the EFL Cup on the 22nd of September, but their last win in the Premier League was actually against Leicester on the 19th of September, more than 2 months ago. So that's a nailed on Brighton win, isn't it, this Wednesday?
You would have thought so, definitely. I know, because Potter was getting some criticism from the Brighton fans yesterday, and he's come out and been vocal against. He can't understand why.
Yeah.
To be honest, I kind of back him a little bit. I'm a big fan of Graham Potter.
Yeah.
I think he's done a wonderful job. He did a superb job in Sweden with Östersunds.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one I earmarked as potential West Ham manager in the future
Yep.
before he got kind of taken up by the Seagulls.
Yep.
But it's just one of them things, isn't it? Are we going to do a typical West Ham thing against the side that hasn't won for 8 games, who might just invoke a rule of bringing Glenn Murray out of retirement just because he does a Glenn Murray and scores against us? You know, we've got to have a massive reaction to the last 2 league games because they just haven't been good enough.
No.
And for a size with aspirations of finishing the top echelons of this league, from an attacking perspective, the last 2 games have been not anywhere near the calibre of what we need to produce.
Yeah,
we need a reaction. We need a massive reaction from our players. But that little bit of West Ham in the back of my head, despite the fact the new regime has completely changed us, is just pointing to a 3-0 defeat.
Oh, well, it's all fun and optimism on here this afternoon, isn't it, eh? Goodness gracious me. Yeah. 5 draws in a row, of course. 1-0, 2-2, 3-3, 1-1, 2. Well, at least we're hopefully guaranteed a few goals anyway, even if, you know.
That's just put a kiss of death on that, I know, wasn't it? Jesus.
Oh, dear. If you're new to this, it does get better than this normally. You know, we're normally quite a bit more chipper than this, but it's not been a great day for West Ham. But, you know, I don't suppose we really expected much more than that, did we, Rio? You know, the way we've been playing the last few weeks and up against a team in absolute red-hot form, to be fair.
No, if you look at the actual result, before the game, you said 2-1 away to Manchester City. You know, we'll take that. You know, it's acceptable. Long gone are the days when we lose 3 or 4, 5, 6-0.
Yeah,
we just go up there and roll over. Even today, we weren't at the races, but we competed more than matched them in the first 20 minutes. It's just our wastefulness and our lack of intelligence on the ball for the rest of the game has cost us dearly. But yet, we still weren't out of that game.
No.
And every single defeat this season, we haven't been mauled by anyone. It's been single goal defeats.
Yeah, good point.
And we're just a fraction away. And again, this is going to be a plus point for everyone out there watching, if there's anyone left, after me being so negative. Despite the fact that the last 2 games have been our 2 worst league performances for quite a while.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, we was only a goal away, one little bit of moment of magic from being on level terms and walking away with points. You know, the mentality of this club has changed. I know I had that little bit of a joke a minute about Glenn Murray, but he's going to bring Glenn Murray out of retirement. You know he is.
Yeah. But
things have changed, you know, and despite the fact we ain't playing well, in fact, so poorly, it is the 2 worst performances we put in for a long, long while.
Yeah.
It's only been a goal. One little goal has cost us, you know. And today, Man City, for all their money, all their talent, they didn't dominate us. We gifted them that result today.
Yeah.
2 defensive errors, slack passing as a unit in the forward positions. You know, it's cost us dearly, but fine margins and all that.
Should David Moyes have stuck with a 4-2-3-1 rather than change it up?
I can completely understand the way he went that way today. It's just, you know, you're tinkering your system to counter one of the best sides in the world, and that's completely understandable. But barring those first 20 minutes, when it worked, the rest of it was completely woeful.
Yep. Can't disagree. You may have noticed, those of you on the stream, but we have been joined at long last by our main man from, it's not a main man from Main Road, a main man from Manchester, the Pink Palermo, who was there at the Etihad Stadium this afternoon. Pinky, are you with us? I can't see. It's very dark in there.
Yeah, I am. Just bear with me. I'm.
No worries. Well, I can. Go on, buddy.
Sorry.
I was just going to say you just about caught us because we were just about to sign off. We didn't think you were going to get on today, but I'm glad you're here anyway. Are you set up? Are you good to chat for a few minutes?
Yeah. Go. Yeah.
Can you swivel round for us? Can you give us a 90-degree turn on your thing so we can see a bit more of you?
How's that?
Beautiful, beautiful. Did you drive today, or are you passenger?
Yeah, I drove. I'm drove. I'm on my way up to Glasgow. So.
You're going even deeper into the dark and dark nights up there. What did you Okay, initial post-match thoughts. What did you make of it today? Were we battered? Were we unfortunate? Did David Moyes make the right decision at the start of the game and with his substitutions? What do you think?
No, we weren't battered. But let's be clear, the better team on the day won. I mean, let's not muck around here. But you're losing by what turned out to be the odd goal away at that Manchester City. There's no disgrace in it. Let's be honest. But equally, at no stage today did I actually think we were going to win. And so the most we were ever going to get today was a point. In the end, we didn't get anywhere near that, truth be told. But certainly not battered, certainly not disgraced. But they had just a little bit more quality all over the pitch than we had today. That's for certain. Of that, I've got no doubt. And you look at it and say the first half was a bit of a farce. I mean, you guys, I assume, were watching on streams and what have you. I have to tell you, the conditions were awful in the first half. And whilst you say it's the same for both teams, when you've got players who are slightly better quality, all over the park, slightly better balance than our lads, if you know what I mean. Just 2 or 3% difference here and there. You add it together, though, it's quite considerable. And we barely got out of our first half, if I'm being honest.
Well, I mean, to be fair, sorry, I was just going to say we made the point during the stream that we weren't too bad in that opening 15 or 20 minutes. I think it was pretty much like for like in terms of possession. We didn't get that many shots away, but we were making inroads. Side Ben Rama, we've spoken about, got in some really good positions, made the wrong decision a couple of times. Wasn't his day. But we talk about that the conditions. They're often a leveler, but as you've just pointed out, it seemed to go against us today, didn't it? We seemed to come off worse when the snow started to fall really heavily. And as you say, we couldn't see the ball at all on TV. I mean, you should have, if you were listening to this stream, it was like a comedy. We couldn't. I mean, they hit the post right near the end of the first half. The shots, can't think, was it Jesus who had the shot? We couldn't even see where we'd hit the post on it. It was that bad. So God knows what it was like for you guys actually at the stadium.
I mean, literally, you couldn't see 30 yards. It was a bit of a farce, truth be told. And as I say, the difference for my money was their players were just a little more certain on their feet than ours were. And therefore, you're going to play with that little bit more confidence. Your passing is going to be a bit crisper. But what I have to say about the Man City team, their work rate, both with and without the ball, really is fabulous.
Right.
And when we had the ball, any one of our players, they just looked up and all they could see was 4 or 5 Man City shirts surrounding them. I mean, you couldn't see another West Ham player because in the way were half the Man City team all afternoon, and they're good at it. And people going about how good their attacking players. I actually think it's the defensive shape, structure, and work rate that just makes them so hard to beat because you can't get the ball. You just can't get hold of the ball for periods of play.
Look, let's talk about our shape briefly because we spoke at the start of the game about how we had changed our setup. That favoured 4-2-3-1 formation slightly changed. Looks like we went 3-4-3, like a 5-4-1 when not in possession, and Masuaku breaking forward when we were. And of course that cost us dearly, didn't it, for the opening goal, because Arthur was woefully out of position when that ball was played across to Mahrez on the right hand side. and he put the ball in, and we were caught out there. How does David Moyes come out of this view? Do you think he could have been a bit braver and stuck with his favoured formation? And also, I've got to come to it, because this was our first main big talking point after the match. Soufal at left back. Why didn't he change? Why didn't he swap Johnson and Soufal, in your view?
Would you be asked? I mean, you know, you got a player who's been on, he's playing okay, he's doing okay. I'd always get the senior player to go and do the other side. To be honest with you, I don't have an issue with what he did there. The bigger question, of course, is starting with Arthur, because every single football fan in the world knows he can't defend. Yeah, he's you know, and it's always his defensive duties that are gonna let him down. And you can see what the manager was trying to do. What I would say is right formation, right idea, wrong personnel. It's the wrong personnel. And you know, as tempting as it is to pin another one on the manager or something like that, because shock horror, you know, that's 2 away defeats on the spin. Wolves, I think, I could say there, I think the manager got it wrong. Today, sometimes you just got to say the opposition were better. You know, and you know, how many points have Man City dropped at home this season?
Well, not so well. We mentioned the Palace game, but we're assuming now that was a bit of an anomaly, the way that they were beaten there. But as you say, they were phenomenal today. They were first to every ball, and you know, they showed why they're a team that's you know, so highly rated and so expensively put together. But do you feel we did ourselves justice today? Did you feel we played as well as we possibly could in the circumstances? I mean, you know, we spoke about individual performances. Michail Antonio, anonymous again, kept, you know, couldn't trap the ball. The ball kept bouncing off him. Said Benrahma not at the races at all again today, and you know, Pablo Fornals again, you know, pretty anonymous. Or was it just the case that we weren't given the opportunities to play by an exceptionally good team?
I think your second point is probably the dominant factor. But just you know, I would pick up on Antonio's performance. What did we pay for Antonio all those years ago?
6 million, whatever. Where it was 6-8 million, whatever, something like that, wasn't it?
Wasn't a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a lot of money. Is the bottom line. Yeah. That's what you get for the money, and he's been brilliant for us in recent times.
He has.
But I think he's dead tired. We need an option, and we simply haven't got one.
Yeah.
You know, and is that Antonio's fault? I don't think so. You know, you've got to look at it and say, you know, we've got a transfer window coming up.
Yep.
Obviously, we've got injuries have impacted the squad. Obviously, we know Ogbonna's going to be out for the rest of the season. Yep. So the manager's going to be tempted to strengthen in that area. But I honestly feel we need some fresh legs up top. We really do. And even if he does nothing else, you might get somebody in that can allow us to give Antonio a fortnight off. Or if his physique's not the issue, you then say, well, we're giving you some competition for the shirt, Antonio. You know, and as well as you've done for us, you're not an automatic pick unless you're doing the business. And so for my money, you know, I think it was more the fact that the opposition were just better today, and let's not beat ourselves up, for goodness sake.
Yeah. No, fair point. Rio, did you want to fire any questions over to Pinky?
The main thing is, like, I think you covered the main thing in terms of position. Also, I think Pinky just made a more than valid comment there. But I'm hypercritical of us today because of our performance. We didn't string 3 passes together from the last 70 minutes. But we have got to take into consideration the opposition. You're completely right. The money spent on them as well. The only thing for me really is it's just how was our support coping in northern temperatures? Because it's been a while since we've had to do that, hasn't it? I think was everyone out of practice?
Not at all. Most of us were in shorts and t-shirts, but we noticed the Northerners had the heavy coats.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
You know, I mean, the diehards among us aren't even contemplating putting heating on at home yet. You know, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. You know, we criticise the authorities when they call matches off and things like that. I've just had a 30-minute walk back to the car in treacherous paths and pavements and all the rest of it, and there will be people who will have fallen over and hurt themselves. And this is why they call matches off when the snow falls. The immediate vicinity around the ground is fine. You go 100 yards away from it, and you are walking on sheets of ice. And in some respects, I'm very surprised today's game went ahead. We actually thought towards the end of the first half that it might get called off. The snow was that heavy, but no, I mean the supporters. There were quite a few empty seats there today, or spaces. No big shock really. 2:00 Sunday, freezing cold up north against Man City. There's one to sack off in it, really, if you're being honest.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually sold out because I believe because I was contemplating going, but I think the weather might have taken its toll.
I think so, Rio, and you can't blame supporters. I mean, you think about it. You know, we've just come through a COVID situation. We're still in a lot of people, and a lot of our support will either be self-employed or in, should we say, ordinary jobs rather than what I call executive positions, for want of a better phrase. And you've got to get to work. You're going to risk getting marooned up north if it's dodgy and people are saying it's going to chuck down with snow. Probably not. And I wouldn't blame any supporter for not turning up today. I reckon we had quite a few empty seats there today. We've sold the tickets, but people didn't arrive. Interesting, they've got the rail stands in the lower tier of the Etihad now.
Oh, they have,
which is quite interesting. Yeah, and I think they're quite positive actually. You can see why it's an idea and a runner. The Etihad, the seats are a reasonable size anyway, so you've got okay spacing between each position. But I think that's a goer, and I think I certainly know in our ground, if they put them in at the London Stadium, that would be a huge hit for many of our supporters, that's for sure.
Would you stand, Pinky?
Standing up behind the goals.
Would you stand?
Not for me, because I've got a bad back, mate. So for me personally,
me too.
I struggle.
That ship sailed, unfortunately.
but you can't say design a stadium for the benefit of me, because we had one of those for 100 years and we moved grounds, and so but
good to see it back though.
They're trying at Man City, but I do wonder about the soul of that football club, because you look at it now. I think we compete today, and yet they're going away. I'm sure the Man City supporters will be all that happy, if you know what I mean. They're almost at the stage now where if they're not winning by 4s and 5s every week as well, we need a reshuffle and things like that. And is that Man City? Not for me.
Well, do you know, I mean, I was kind of like that up to about a couple of weeks ago at West Ham. So God knows what it's like for Man City, where they've been used to it for, several years now. But it's I get what you're saying. It's not the same as it was all those years ago. But I'm sure they're reasonably happy with all the silverware they're picking up. Pinky, let me ask you, because Rio's already come in on this one. Brighton on Wednesday. What was it, Rio? 8 games in a row that we haven't beaten them in 2012. 9 years since we last beat them in a competitive fixture, Pinky. Can we beat them this Wednesday?
Yeah, I think we can. I really think we can. I mean, Brighton can't buy wins at the minute. That's for sure. And I think we're a pretty good football team, if I'm being honest. I think we're pretty good. I think we're competitive. when you're up against the very best,
are you there?
In the part of the
Yes,
league table where we are, I don't think it's an accident, and I expect us to show that to Brighton and Hove Albion midweek. I think we'll beat them. I think we'll beat them comfortably by a 2-goal margin. Okay.
Excellent. Well, let's hope so. It'd be nice to end the stream anyway on a positive note. And of course, we haven't talked about Lanzini's goal to you yet, Pink. I mean, Rio and I, we thought it was an absolute belter and potentially a goal of the season contender. But were you behind that goal? Was it the other end for our fans today?
No, it's down at our end, and I was absolutely thrilled. And you recall, midweek I said that I think it'd be worth starting berth. He didn't get that today. He came on as a sub, but just makes you wonder if he'd been on from the start, what might have happened. But delighted for him. Terrific goal. And the key thing for me, we've lost by the odd goal against the champions at their place. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't so many seasons ago we were getting done by 5 and 6 by that lot. Yeah. And so for my money, the rest of the league will look at that and go, narrow defeat for West Ham. They won't necessarily look at the details and go, actually, wasn't that narrow really if you study the match. But ultimately, we've only actually shrunk our goal difference by 1, having played that lot. I'll take that.
Yeah, and as Rio pointed out, every defeat we've suffered this season has been by the odd goal. No one's really given us a good hiding yet. And I suppose you might look at the statistics today and the XG stat and say, well, perhaps we were a little bit fortunate. It wasn't an even more comprehensive defeat, but you can only go by what the score is at the end of the day. And it's finished 2-1 to Manchester City. That is about it from us. It's been an interesting stream today. We've had Rio from the south, me from the Midlands, Pinky from the north, and Gnome all the way from New York. So we've been all over the shop this afternoon.
It was a studio in New Cross. We know it.
Yeah, we're not having it. He wasn't in New York. Well, we'll see on Wednesday because he's apparently coming on again. Pinky, you good for the Brighton stream on Wednesday? Pinky seems to have disappeared into the ether. I don't know if he can hear us, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We shall. Whichever formation we use ourselves on Wednesday night, the KUMB will be here with you for the live stream once again. Another Eyes Up Mother Brown between West Ham United and Brighton. That's just about it from us, as I say, tonight. It was Manchester City's 10th Premier League win against West Ham under Pep Guardiola in 11 matches. But on the bright side, we always do like to end on a positive, Rio, don't we? We can say that the final score in the snowball fights was Declan Rice 1, Manchester City supporters 0. So we can take some kind of moral victory from that anyway. As I say, that's it from us tonight. We shall see you again on Wednesday. West Ham United versus Brighton, when the Hammers hope to bounce back with a win. And after 2 consecutive defeats, we could probably really do with one. Until then, take care, everyone. We'll see you all very soon. Come on, you Irons.
Don't cross your arms, Pinky. You're driving.
I'm not moving, honest.
We're here in the offices of a Late Late Show with the host of a Late Late Show, James Corden.
Hi.
Big West Ham fan.
Yes. And big knees up Mother Brown, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm regularly on the general discussion page. There's always someone who's got some information, so I love it. Yeah. It's great.
Get on the forum at kumb.com. Come on, you Irons.